planning to retire, was renting a nice room with a friend, and then the pandemic happened, and then I was evicted, and it was tough. I couldn't rent a new place or find a new place because I had an eviction on my record. In July to December, I was back living in my car. And I learned about fish. I found out all the help that was available to me. It was a lot of time and effort and money on Fish's part, and their support was just unwavering. These past 8 months have just been tremendous. Things just get better and better and better. People ask me, how you doing? I'm like, better every day.
The gist of Fish's mission is to help our neighbors in need. It's helping people with food, with housing assistance, with utility assistance. And I think that any time that we help our neighbors in need, the entire community is strengthened because of it.
Broomfield Fish was originally known mostly as a food pantry, but we do so much more. We joined the Family Resource Center Association in 2018. Basically, our main function is to help low-income residents on a pathway to economic stability. And then we have partners with more than 30 organizations who help with all sorts of other resources. I often say that collaboration is our superpower at Fish. In 2023, Fish served 13,311 unduplicated residents in Broomfield, over half of whom were children. That number alone is almost double from what we were doing pre-pandemic. And we distributed more than 1.5 million pounds of food.
When I moved here to Broomfield, I moved into what I felt was a lovely, affluent community. And when I started volunteering here, I had no idea how big the need was.
One of the best things about our marketplace is that we can actually have our participants come through with a shopping cart and shop, and that allows them to pick foods that they need or want. We definitely have to get pretty crafty with sourcing our food. We have 7 excellent grocery stores that help us a lot with donations every day.
This year was incredibly special because we actually were able to get funding through the Colorado Garden Foundation to launch a community garden.
Everyone deserves good food, and what we do, I feel like, is so important to feeding people in the community. I'm the owner of Lost Rock Farm. It's a small farm on the northeast side of Broomfield. Fish participates in a number of grant programs, and one of those is specifically to buy produce from local Colorado farms. So each week, I make some surplus produce available to Fish and harvest it fresh and deliver it.
What got me involved in Fish and the refuge was that somebody stole my car when I was moving into a storage unit. And I found Fish, and they were great. And it's just been amazing how much help it is and what good they do. I'm amazed at the amount of food and the types of food that Fish has. My situation is I'm diabetic. Through places like this, I can get food good for me.
There was a gentleman, he was so happy and said, I can't thank Fish enough because I would never have been able to buy the quality of ingredients and the organic produce that you've been able to give me. And I really think Fish saved my life. I'll never forget that.
Without our volunteers, we would definitely not be able to keep the marketplace running like it is. They really are the heart and soul of setting the marketplace up every day, checking all of our donations that come in for quality.
People are just wonderful here, the volunteers, the staff. We have up days, down days, but when I walk through the door, sorry, my spirits are just lifted. Being here to help others. I just really enjoy that.
Housing costs are the #1 driver of need, and most of the folks who come to Fish spend over 75% of their income on housing, which means they have very little left for anything else. And as I say that, I can also tell you that the number of people who are actually unhoused and experiencing homelessness rose to just under 300 last year. Those are families, those are children, those are seniors, those are anyone in our community who could be at risk for that.
I am raising a grandchild, and I'm the type of person that doesn't like to ask anybody, like even my family, I don't like to ask them for anything. When I got divorced and I had kids to think about, I reached out to Human Services, and they had mentioned Fish. They've helped me with 1 month's rent. They've helped me with Excel energy bills, and recently they helped me with my water bill. You feel relieved and hopeful and very, very glad that they're here in this community.
The first meeting I went to at the Broomfield Housing Authority, it got to me and I stood up and everybody looked at me and I don't work for a government agency. I said, I am the product of all of your hard work.
Keeping families housed, we work with participants more closely with goal setting and focus on sustainability. And we meet with our participants once per month for several months. And that way we can help assist their families with any children that are in the household.
And then Keeping Seniors Housed is also a longer-term program. And what we help with that is helping seniors stay in their housing by subsidizing some of the rent.
If you're not proactive in trying to get things done, you're not going to fail, but you're going to struggle, and it's going to take a long time. If you participate in your recovery, as it were, or moving forward, things open up a lot more quickly.
Sometimes in hard situations, it's hard to see our own power, and helping families realize they have so many strengths within themselves to impact their situation.
When I was a kid, we went to food banks. We relied on that for sustenance and survival. And it's like, okay, I can kind of give back a little bit to, something that helped me when I was younger. We look for ways to help people with anything, if it's automotive related or otherwise. Our mission statement is, we can help. It just popped into my head while I was making chili that night. Like, wouldn't it be cool to have a chili cook-off? All my friends that also own businesses that are part of the Chamber of Commerce, maybe they would want to participate and help. We just asked people to bring donations of either food or money to get in the door. The way the community responded and came out for us was just really heartwarming. Due to the generosity of the Broomfield community, we were able to donate over 175 pounds of food, as well as over $2,200 in cash.
I went home and I told my grandma I'm starting a food drive at my school. Even if you're young, help do what you can. Even if you can't do what someone else did, then do what you can do.
Adopt a Shelf is a big program that we rely on. Certain families that sign up to stock a certain shelf, so somebody might pick the stew shelf, and that helps us because we know that we can rely on those people to bring in the food.
We'd noticed the cooking oil shelf was just completely empty. We make sure that we bring a minimum of 10 bottles a week.
Fresh Food Heroes is another step of the Adopt a Shelf where we're looking for big sponsor corporations to help our fresh produce and help finance that.
Youth Engagement Squad is for people ages 13 through 18, 8th graders through seniors, and it just focuses on the youth and how young people can help.
They're doing really, really great things. They're learning about food security, they're learning about housing stability. They are working on individual service projects.
The Broomfield Canned Food Drive, it's a big thing that we do every single year in the fall. People donated more than $14,000 in actual money, and then we also raised 4,000 pounds of food.
We're at this really important point where we have to acknowledge that our need is growing and we don't have the funding to keep up with the need.
What we most need are people willing to roll up their sleeves and help, whether that means food drives, whether that means coming to volunteer, whether that means being an ambassador and talking to people at community events. The primary message is we need everyone. We need everyone working on this.
You don't feel bad about having to come here because sometimes times are hard. It's a good feeling. It's a very safe and hopeful feeling.
I'm not the only one. There are dozens and dozens of people out there right now that are 200% better off than they were, and it's because of places like Fish. There's no question.
It's our families. Seeing the kids come in and get engaged with their parents and, help shop, and the gratitude from our families. A lot of times it's pretty tough, and you come in and you hear a lot of stories, and we're here. And that's, to see the smiles when people are done shopping and that gratitude, it makes it all worth it.
It's a really special community, and we often call it a fish family. And they get a listening ear, and they get kind and compassionate words, and they get a sense that they're not alone. And I think that's really special.